If you or a family member have been hurt because of the careless actions of another person, call Walker Texas Lawyer. They'll work to get you the financial compensation and justice you deserve. They have 40 years of experience, and you don't pay unless you win. Call 713-881-9653 today for a consultation or go to walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lucky to talk to me, funny lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat, Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We told you we had a very, very special guest this week's 5 Minutes of Fame. He is none other than the Mad Dragon, Ilja Dragunov. Ilya, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me.
Hey, man, I just want to sit down with you and talk for a moment just because of, since I sat at the desk at NXT, you one of those guys that, when I watched when I was a kid, he made me feel a certain way when I left the arena. I felt like I could take on the world, when I saw my favorite, guys like a Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, come down and just rip, his partner to his opponent to shreds. And for you, as a kid, who was that guy that you watched that made you feel that way?
Well, growing up, I didn't watch too much of the business, I must confess, but I remember the first match I ever seen, and this has been Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, actually. So I started pretty good, I can say. And these guys definitely made me feel something because, like, Rey Mysterio, one side is one of a dying breed, even today, a real underdog babyface. Someone who really fights from the ground and really captivates like the hope of the people. And on the other side, you have Kurt Angle, who just has an insane intensity that you just can't reach. And I hope for myself that someday I can reach this kind of intensity, and I really hope I will in my way. But those two people, I would say, left the biggest impression on me for my work today.
Ilya, to piggyback off of the legends, there are so many legendary names behind the scenes at NXT. Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Matt Bloom, Terry Taylor, just to name a few. What have you learned being around some of those great minds? And does any one bit of advice stand out to you?
I think it's what I learned the most from my time there is really like make things mean something. Especially like the small things, the small moments, the paying attention to the detail. That's what I learned the most, because I think if you reach like true greatness in this business, it's not about it's not about giving as much as possible. If you understand what I mean about quantity, it's about quality. It's about making the most out of nothing. And this is the point I learned the most, because if you can take literally nothing and make a lot more out of that, then you're truly great.
Yeah, that's what I call the Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, the Phantom of the Opera. That's what I've always loved about the business as well. And I said Ilja Dragunov. I said this a few weeks ago. I said Ilja Dragunov is going to be one of those wrestlers that when fans walk up to him 20 years later at a convention or something, and you're signing that autograph for him, and it's going to be a grown man, and tears is going to come out of his eyes because he's meeting Ilya for the first time. How important it is for you to actually give those fans that ultimate feeling.
It's everything I can give. I mean, like, we all need to rely on our strengths, right? We all have different qualities that we can give to the business. And if there is something I can give, then it is a true emotional connection. That's what I do. That's because it's honest. I mean, like, I feel so much when I'm standing in this ring or whatever I do in my job. I feel so much, and I just wanted those people to participate in my feeling, because we all do something, watch something, live something for the sense of emotion. And without this emotion, room and life is just empty. That's the reason why we are captivated by emotion, because we want to feel something. Whatever it is we do, we want to feel something. And if I can transport my whole passion to the audience and give them this feeling, give them this belief, that's the biggest accomplishment I can have, and this biggest bond I can build to them.
And you know, to go off of that, was there a particular match that you've had in your career thus far where you felt like you had the moment to where the light bulb went off in your head and you learned a lot about yourself as a performer in this particular match?
Absolutely. And that this is a match that a lot of people are still talking about. That's me and Gunther. Like, about both times me and Gunther faced off each other in the WWE ring. And it is simply those moments where I shine the most, is when I get beaten up the most, when I suffer the most, when I'm literally getting stomped into the ground. This is like where I reach my full potential, because it's really about either you can take it or you can't. And I portray a persona. I am a persona that is, even if it sounds weird, I live to fight back, right? And to never stop fighting back. And especially in those matches, I can fully embrace it, that you really can't do anything to keep me down.
Yeah, I tell you, you definitely embrace the embodiment of that throwback wrestler that made me really, really feel a certain way. For me, as a young wrestler, I had my favorites. I had the ones that I dreamt of actually getting in the ring with and going, one-on-one with just once upon a time. Every, I think, young person that get in this business, they think about having that WrestleMania moment as well. For me, it was Bret Hart. When I finally got a chance to get in the ring with Bret Hart, I almost had to pinch myself. And then I go, I'm in the ring with Bret Hart, and I had to realize I had to perform. Who's that one guy, if you could get in the ring with him and do it at that WrestleMania level, who's that one guy that you want to do it with?
Well, in that case, I got to repeat the same person I talked about before right now. It must be Gunther. It must be him. There's no other chance. This is destiny. I mean, like, there's no other match that makes people feel this whole dimension of emotions that we both can produce, just because we're just the opposites, right? And there's not one person that, again, that taught me more in my entire professional career. There's not one person that pushed me more in my entire professional career. And there's no one person I somehow could have a better match with on such a high level as WrestleMania as with him. That is impossible, because we are both like the opposites, but that are kind of bound and needed to be connected to create something that people never seen before, and can reinvent this special thing every time again, especially on a stage like this.
I know that's my last question I got for you, but I just wanted to confess something to you before I let you out of 5 Minutes of Fame. About 6 to 8 months ago, it was a question inside the Hall of Fame, and the question was, who's the person that should beat Gunther? And one of the fans wrote in, it should be Ilja Dragunov. And what did I think about that? And I said, nah, man, no way. It's no way Ilya's going to be able to compete against Gunther. And then after sitting at the desk month after month after month, I had to come back and retract my statement a few months later.
Glad to hear that.
I did. So I just wanted you to know, you truly made me a believer, and you are truly destined to be one of the greatest WWE superstars. And I just want to thank you for stepping inside the Hall of Fame and giving us our 5 Minutes of Fame of Ilja Dragunov.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much, guys.